Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Plastic Surgery 90210. My name is Ariel.
And I'm Dr. Katzen.
And we are sponsored by the amazing Fairgrounds once again. What do you have?
I have saffron foamed oat.
Saffron oat foam latte.
Latte, yeah.
I have a rose foam matcha.
Ooh, yummy,
Yes.
yummy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. And today we are talking all about fall plastic surgery procedures and why it's a good time to get plastic surgery procedures in the fall. There's a lot of benefits to getting it in the fall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Whoa, mine is really rosy.
Rosy.
Yeah, that's nice.
Sweet rosy?
Slightly sweet, but like really floral in a nice way. Fact, cooler weather allows for a more comfortable recovery and makes it easier to hide swelling because you have lots of layers on.
Correct. So, after any kind of surgery, your body responds by an inflammatory response, and part of that inflammatory response is swelling. That's just natural healing. So to accelerate the healing process, minimize the recovery time, what we do is we try to decrease the swelling. And one of the ways we decrease the swelling is by having you wear compression garments. Either maybe it's an abdominal binder for a tummy tuck, or maybe it's a compression garment for a liposuction, but nonetheless, we're trying to decrease the swelling. So a compression garment's tight, it's form-fitting, it is a layer, so it can make you a little warm and toasty. So if you're wearing a garment underneath, you're going to be a little bit more warmer during the summer. So fall and winter are really good times to have plastic surgery because it's cooler and it won't be as miserable in the garments.
Timing of why having it in the fall works out for a lot of people.
Yeah, so a lot of people have end of the year vacation plans. Maybe end of the year they have family reunions, maybe even school reunions. So they want to look their best, and you want to be able to have healed up for those events. So it's a good idea to have surgery in the fall, so you have a good 3 months to heal up before the winter. Minimum 6 to 8 weeks. That's sort of the general healing phase for like liposuction. If you have maybe a tummy tuck, the swelling will go down about 6 to 8 weeks, but give yourself a little bit longer to heal up if you're going on maybe a big trip overseas. You don't want to be in a foreign country and have a medical problem,
Right.
From an elective surgery. So I'd plan on giving yourself at least a good 3 months.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to be doing hardcore, maybe hiking or rock climbing, things like that, give yourself maybe a good 4 to 6 months.
Okay, 4 to 6 months. When are you kind of like out of the woods as far as wound openings go and your incision opening up?
Yeah, so as right after the surgery is probably the highest incidence of wound separation, wound dehiscence, wound opening, okay? Then there's a phase for about 2 weeks. Then as you heal up, your natural collagen builds up and reinforces the incision, but then also at the same time, the sutures are dissolving. So at first there's a higher risk. Then there's a little lull period. Then there's another little bump where there's a little bit of a higher risk as the sutures dissolve, and then you're smooth sailing. So typically maybe at about 6 to 8 weeks, then the risk of a wound opening up is pretty small.
Okay. How long do you need people to be like pretty still after surgery, say a tummy tuck or body lift?
Yeah, so for a tummy tuck body lift, I don't want you moving around too much for like a good 2 weeks. Okay, we'll get you up and walking a little bit here and there, 10, 15, 20 feet once or twice a day, but that's pretty much the limit of it. In my experience, I find patients get more wound separation, wound dehiscence, wound opening when they're doing too much activity, when they're walking around too much, when they're out shopping when they shouldn't be after a tummy tuck, bending over when they shouldn't be after a body lift, things like that.
Okay. And then so if people want to have their final results by winter time for all these parties and stuff, when should they get like their body lift surgery?
Yeah, so I would, if you're thinking about December, maybe you want to do like late July, August.
To give yourself as much time to get to that.
Correct. The longer time you can give yourself, the better to heal up from these surgeries. But I would say a good 3 to 4 months.
What about swelling? How long does swelling stick around?
Yeah, it depends on the surgery, depends on the patient, depends on what we're doing, the extent of what we're doing. But typically, on average, most of the swelling is gone at about 6 to 8 weeks from pretty much most surgeries. That's liposuction, tummy tucks, body lifts, etc. Of course, there are going to be outliers. Of course, maybe not 100% of your swelling will be gone, but 95, 97% should be gone by 6 to 8 weeks.
Let's talk about which surgeries you would recommend to recover during the fall time.
I would recommend liposuction. Liposuction's a very good one. If you have localized areas of fat that you want removed, that's the ideal situation for liposuction. If you're like, oh, I want a really muscular abdomen, We love to do the Vaser high-def six-pack, defining the six-pack muscles, suprailiac crest, changing the body structure from basically tubular or maybe even pear-shaped to more of a V-shaped cut, larger chest, more narrow waist. And then maybe even if you want to get defined arms, arm liposculpture to define the biceps, triceps, and deltoids. So liposuction is a really good surgery to get. Facelift, neck lifts, things like that, because the swelling takes a little bit longer to heal in the face. There's a very big trend now for the deep plane facelift where there's more swelling than the traditional facelift, so that swelling may take longer to heal. So if you're thinking about surgeries, maybe postpone that till after the holidays. Breast procedures heal up relatively quickly, whether we're doing a breast reduction. Again, the most satisfied patients in the plastic surgery collective, very satisfying procedure for the patient, getting rid of the weight of the breast, changing the shape of the breast. So breast reductions are good all year round. The healing from that is pretty straightforward, pretty quick, 6 to 8 weeks, maximum swelling. If we're combining the breast lift and the breast augmentation, maybe the swelling is gone at about maybe 8 to 10 weeks. But again, worthwhile procedures. You should heal up relatively quickly and be ready for the holidays.
What benefits do patients gain by timing their surgeries for the fall regarding UV exposure and skin healing?
So scars are very susceptible to sun. Sun has UV radiation, which can damage a brand new scar. Okay, so the scars are very sensitive to the sun for like the first 2 years. So for the first 2 years, you should really apply sunblock, not really allow the sun to come in contact with your scars. So again, it's a good idea to have your surgeries in the fall and the winter to ideally keep those scars covered during those months.
So after the summer, kids go back to school, parents aren't having to watch their kids, they have more time to recover. How does that affect the procedure?
Yeah, so again, that's a very popular time to have surgeries. Again, August, September, October in there. The kids have gone back. The parents may have more time, not the mad rush of the summer, traveling, kids, everything like that. So that's a good time to have plastic surgery.
Kind of the calm before the storm of the winter, too.
Correct. And calm before, November, Thanksgiving in the U.S., and then, end of the year celebrations. So some plastic surgery procedures are covered by insurance, okay? Some insurance policies, you have a deductible. Okay, so in your medical expenses, you pay, depending on what your deductible is, maybe $250, maybe $1,000 a year. And if you've met that deductible, and if your plastic surgery procedure is approved by insurance, it's a good idea to have that surgical procedure done within that calendar year because you've already paid off your deductible.
Right, versus paying it again the next year.
Exactly. So maybe if you've met your deductible that year and you're thinking about a plastic surgery and your plastic surgery procedure is approved by insurance, it's probably a good idea to get it in the fall and then let yourself heal up. And then there's no question, if there need to be revisions on that procedure, that it falls within that same calendar year.
So let's say a patient has surgery in the fall. Let's say it's like a tummy tuck, body lift, whatever it is. Do they have to be very careful in the winter time?
The main thing I would suggest is, make sure you don't fall. Okay? Because if we're doing an incision, there's a cut, the incision could break open. So you want to make sure you're not slipping on ice, falling on snow, things like that, weather-related accidents. But, pretty much wear your garments, follow your plastic surgeon's instructions, putter around the house, let yourself heal. I mean, these are surgeries and things can go wrong. Usually they don't, but we don't want you to have any problems.
And how long do people have to wear their compression garments for?
Depends on the procedure, but usually it's about 6 to 8 weeks. Again, that sort of coincides with the swelling. When the swelling is gone, then you don't need your garments. Some plastic surgeons don't use garments. Some plastic surgeons use the garments for longer, but usually the majority of plastic surgeons have you wear the garment for about 6 to 8 weeks. The garment does a couple of things. One, minimizes the swelling, flattens the scar, feels like you have physical support so you're not going to break open. And it also gives you mental support too, to make you feel like, oh, I'm not that fragile. This is giving me support. It's going to help me heal.
Like a brace in a way?
Like a brace. So people actually like the garments. Maybe they go into the surgery or preoperatively, they're like, oh, I'm going to hate this garment. And actually, in the end, they actually like the garment and actually want to wear it longer. For most people, it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks. After those 6 to 8 weeks, if you're still swollen, then I would wear the garment for another 2 weeks. Check, reevaluate. If you're still swollen, continue wearing the garment. If you're not swollen after that 2-week checkup, follow-up, then you don't need the garment anymore.
What are the negatives of doing surgery in the fall?
if you have big plans for the end of the year, maybe you're going on a trip or a family holiday, if you do have complications and do need revisions, they may interrupt those plans. So if you have like big plans for travel during the holidays, big family reunions, maybe try to plan it more toward the end of the summer, early fall.
Mm-hmm. The other benefit of having surgery in the fall versus the winter, for example, or the summer, is that travel costs tend to be lower in the fall. It's like a less popular season to travel, especially like coming to Beverly Hills, for example.
Correct. So we have a lot of patients from out of state and out of the country. So another benefit of the fall surgeries are the discounted flights.
And even hotels.
And hotels, because they're, looking at the peak season. So fall is usually not a peak season. So if you're looking at a little discount on the flights and the accommodations, it is less during the fall.
August, September, October. November gets a little pricey.
Yeah, again, that's more gearing up towards Thanksgiving, end of the year. And a lot of people have a sort of Thanksgiving and sort of the end of the year fused into one. So those first couple of weeks in December may not be heavy work period loads, depending on your industry. So that peak before November is a good time to travel.
Prime time.
Prime time.
How far in advance should patients schedule their fall surgeries?
So the second you think about plastic surgery, maybe consult with some plastic surgeons. And I wouldn't just consult with one or two. I'd get maybe 5, sort of depending on your timeline and your comfort level. But I wouldn't just interview one and sort of just go with that surgeon. I'd sort of get a consensus. If one surgeon says you need this and another surgeon says you need that, well, get a third opinion and sort of the majority should win the vote, kind of thing.
If you're thinking about actually scheduling your plastic surgery for the fall, call your plastic surgeons up ASAP, do your consultations, and start getting your planning in order, because you also don't know how far out they're booking or what the availability of that plastic surgeon is like.
Correct. And then also you need, before plastic surgery procedures, to get routine labs, EKG, chest x-ray, follow up with your internist. So that takes at least a couple of weeks to get all that in order. So as an incentive, we'll give you, what do you think, $100?
Yeah, let's do $100.
Let's do $100 off your consultation fee if you mention this podcast when you call in.
And Dr. Katzen, are you still scheduling people for fall procedures right now?
Yep, fall and even winter. So fall is, again, a very popular time for plastic surgery. So if you're thinking about plastic surgery, plan and look at the fall. We'll see you soon.
We even have some people scheduling for next year already. So it's never too early to plan for your future surgeries.
Correct.
Alrighty. Well, if you guys have any questions about fall or winter plastic surgery procedures, please comment down below or give us a call.
310-859-7770.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Thanks.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye. Cheers.